You know, maps are one of the most powerful things we've ever invented. Seriously, they're not just lines on a page. They're like a universal language that tells the story of our entire planet. So in this explainer, we're going to decode that language together. We're going to master the skills we all need to really read our world.
But have you ever really stopped to think about it? How in the world do you fit an entire planet onto a single page? It seems impossible, right? Taking this giant round home of ours and squishing it onto a flat piece of paper you can hold? Well, that's the big puzzle that map makers have been trying to solve for centuries. And trust me, how they did it is a pretty amazing story.
Okay, so let's start right there by tackling that main challenge head-on. We're talking about the tricky business of taking something that's three-dimensional, like a ball, and turning it into something two-dimensional, like a drawing. This whole transformation, it's the absolute foundation of every map you'll ever see.
See, every single map that's ever been created starts with one fundamental truth. Our Earth is a sphere. It's a giant ball spinning in space. And that one simple fact, it controls every single decision a mapmaker has to make, and it's also the source of all their biggest headaches.
So, this brings us to two main ways we look at the world. On one hand, you've got a globe. Now, a globe is the most accurate model of Earth you can get. The shapes, the sizes, the distances, they're all pretty much perfect. The only catch, you can only ever see half of it at a time. Then you've got the flat map. The big advantage here is that you can see the whole planet all at once. But to do that, you have to stretch and flatten the curved surface of the Earth. And when you do that, things get a little warped, a little distorted. It's always a trade-off, right? Do you want perfect accuracy or do you want to see everything at once?
Now get this, 70%. That's how much of our planet's surface is covered in water. Not land, but water. That huge amount of blue on the map isn't just for show. It defines our climate, all the life on Earth, and, of course, what every single world map actually looks like.
All right, so we've got our flat canvas, and we know it's mostly covered in water. Now it's time to start filling in the details. Let's begin charting the biggest features out there, the 7 continents and the 3 major oceans.
And here they are. These are the continents, the huge pieces of land where all of human history is pretty much played out. And what separates them? Those even bigger bodies of water we call oceans.
So altogether, we've got 7 of them. Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, South America, Australia, and Antarctica. And get this, Asia is the biggest one by far, not just in size, but it's also home to more than half of all the people on Earth. And of course, every single continent has its own unique vibe, its own geography and weather, from the heat of Africa to the icy world of Antarctica.
And linking all those continents together, or keeping them apart depending on how you look at it, are the 3 major oceans, the Pacific, the Atlantic, and the Indian. And the scale here is just, wow, it's hard to even wrap your head around it. The Pacific Ocean alone is so gigantic that it covers almost a third of the whole planet. That means it's bigger than all 7 continents put together.
Okay, so knowing where the continents and oceans are is a great start, but it's really just the beginning. To truly understand a map, you need a special set of tools. Think of it like an explorer's toolkit, full of things that help you navigate all this information. So, let's open it up and see what's inside.
First up, who even makes these maps? Well, that person is called a cartographer, and it's a super cool job because you have to be a little bit of everything. You need the precision of a scientist, the curiosity of an explorer, and the creativity of an artist, all rolled into one to turn our complicated world into something we can all understand.
Now, probably the most important tool in the kit is this, the compass rose. You've definitely seen this on maps before. It's our guide to direction. It gives us a fixed point of reference so we always know which way is which. It's kind of like our anchor, keeping us from getting lost on the page.
The compass rose works with 8 main directions. You've got the 4 big ones, what we call the cardinal points: north, south, east, and west. Then, for a little more accuracy, you have the directions in between them, like northeast and southwest. Put them all together and you've got a full system for navigating in any direction you need to go.
It's also really important to know that not all maps tell the same story. Think of it this way, a physical map tells you about nature. It shows you things like mountains, rivers, and deserts. But a political map tells you about people. It shows the things we've created, like countries, borders, and cities.
So where can you find all this amazing information in one place? Usually in something called an atlas. And an atlas is way more than just a book full of maps. It's like a whole library of geographic knowledge all packed into one volume. with physical maps, political maps, and all sorts of other charts.
But here's the really cool thing about an atlas. It's not just about looking at pictures of places. It's actually a huge database. If you look closely, you can unlock all these layers of information and numbers that give you a much, much deeper understanding of the world.
And the language that unlocks all that data is statistics. That's just a fancy word for facts that are expressed in numbers. By using numbers, an atlas can tell you exactly how high a mountain is, or how many people live in a city, or how much rain a place gets. It lets you compare places in a really powerful way. And these numbers can be pretty mind-blowing. I mean, the Nile River stretches for almost 6,700 kilometers. Mount Everest stands at nearly 9,000 meters high. And what's really neat is that as our tools get better and more accurate, sometimes these numbers actually change a little. It's a great example of how science is always learning and updating what we know. An atlas doesn't just show you the whole world, though. It can also zoom right in on one country to show you how it's organized. Take South Africa, for example. This map isn't showing mountains or rivers. Instead, it's showing the 9 provinces. And knowing that is super important for understanding how the country is actually run. So, there you have it. From the big problem of how to flatten a spear, all the way to the secret data hidden inside an atlas, you now have the basic tools to read and understand the world around you. And that knowledge, that's a kind of power. So the only question left is, what are you going to do with it? What will you discover?